So, hello guys, Okami here, and I'm bringing you this new series called Story Week. So, in Story Week, I will be producing videos every week where I will be telling you guys a story or an event that has happened recently or in the past in my life, and just, explaining how it goes down, how I felt about it, and everything else. So, for this video, to start off this series, I'm going to be telling you the story of my stalker. We're going to call this stalker, we'll call it, his name's Corey. I know his real name, I'm not going to say it, just out of respect. So this happened maybe about when I was in 6th grade. 6th or 7th grade is when I met him. So I went off to a camp, and it was a 4-H camp. And so I went off, and it was probably like the first or second day of camp. And I saw this kid like sitting out into the corner. It was on like these stone benches, and he was all by himself. He's just reading a book, and I happened to see the book he was reading. And in like my middle school years, I was like obsessed with the cat books called Warriors. So I saw he was reading one of those, and I'm like, oh, cool, somebody else is reading them. So I just walked up to him, and I'm like, oh, cool, are you reading a Warriors book? And he's like, yeah, I am. No. So we didn't really talk past that, and I just kind of walked away. Well, then dinner came rolling around, and everybody's in the cafeteria, we're all sitting down, and we were in line to like come get the food from the lunch ladies. And I didn't even realize he was behind me, but I felt someone like tap on my shoulder. So I turn around, and Corey is standing there, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, hi, whatever. And he just kind of looks at me. He's like, do you have a phone? And I'm just kind of giving him a look, and I said, at the time I did have a phone, but I didn't really use it, so I always told people I didn't have a phone, so I'm like, no, I don't have a phone. And he's like, oh, well, I was gonna get your number. And I was like, this is like me in 6th, 7th grade when I had no interest like in boys whatsoever. So I'm like, yikes, like I just talked to him today, like why are you already asking for my number? But I was like, okay, I was like, oh, well, I just don't have a phone, I'm sorry. And so I just kind of left it past that and moved on. Well, later in the week, we went to like Whitewater and all this other stuff, and he ended up like getting in my group with my friends because my friends were like, oh yeah, come along and everything else. And I wasn't going to be the mean one to be like, no. So we went to Whitewater, and he was like all up against me. And he just kept saying like, it wasn't really, he was complimenting me, but it was like these weird compliments because he was just like pointing out things about like, I don't even know how to describe it. They were just like really, really weird comments. And then he comes out, and we go to Stone Mountain. Like after we went to Whitewater, the camp took us to Stone Mountain. And so we're sitting out there, we're watching the laser show, and I had one of my friends who it's not her real name, we call each other Elsa and Anna, so she's Anna, and Anna was sitting beside me, and there was a guy she liked, that was one of my friends, and so he was sitting there, and I'm like trying to get to help her, and then she's trying to like, she's saying, I bet he's gonna ask you again for like your number or something, like my little Corey over here. And so Corey comes, and he sits down beside me, and he's wearing a hat. Well, I wanted to be nice, and I was like, because you could tell there was something like just a little bit off about him, so I didn't want to be mean, so I was like, okay, he wants to mess around and play, so let's play. So I took his hat, and we were like running around like little middle schoolers running around. He was trying to get his hat back. He ended up falling, and I came to help him up and all this stuff. But I ended up accidentally taking, like, he had 2 hats, because I kept keeping his hat the whole time because I didn't want him to get it. It was like a whole little game going on. And well, I tried to give him back the hat before we left Stone Mountain, and he's like, no, just keep it, give it to me in the morning, I don't feel like trying to keep up with it. And so I went to him in the morning, and because he had another hat on, and I would try to give him his hat back, and he's like, no, you can keep it. And I'm like, keep it, like it's yours. And he's like, no, you can keep it so you have something to remember me by. And I was like, okay. And so I ended up with a hat, which right here, I actually still have it after all these years. Just because I normally keep anything a guy who has a crush on me gives me. I very respectful like that. Um, but I kept the hat, and then so after camp though, like out of nowhere, like I didn't give this guy any of my social media or anything, and but he somehow like he found my Facebook, he found my Instagram, and at the time I had like Kick to text and talk to people, so he found my Kick and he started kicking me, and he was like, I mean, at first it was like okay, but then he started getting like really creepy. Like he would ask me like these weird questions about, you know, like what are you wearing right now? Are you wearing like he would ask me like, or am I going like he would just ask all these weird things, and I was really creeped out. And then one day he's like, "Do you want to role play?" And I was like, I mean, I did role play like on Twitter and stuff, but I was like, you know, this is weird. Like, why are you out of the blue asking me that? And I was like, but again, I was like this really nice kid, and I don't want to say no. So I was like, okay. And we agreed to it, and he started, but he got like really messy and naughty, and I'm like, no, like, this is disgusting. What are you doing? But he pretty much ended up stalking all my social media and everything else until I blocked him on everything. And so then finally, like a few months passed, I unblocked him. We started talking again because I was like, okay, maybe he's chill now, you know, it's okay. But the minute I unblocked him, he texted me and he was like, again, went really creepy. And it was just, no. But I blocked him again, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to keep having to block him. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, but I've already told him, you know, I don't like you like that, and can you not do this? And he just wasn't listening. But I blocked him and continued blocking him, and I didn't unblock him for probably, I mean, a few months more passed, and I thought about it, but I unblocked him, then blocked him, like, back like that, like, in a few seconds, because I was just like, I don't want him texting me again. But finally, probably almost a year has passed, and I unblocked him. And Corey, I mean, he went and he follows me back on everything, becomes friends with me on Facebook. He doesn't text me though. Oh, by the way, I forgot to side note, like, the first time I unblocked him and he was like texting me again, he's also saying how, oh, but we could work out if we got together, because he's like lives hours away from me, and he's like, I could just come down and visit and like all this stuff, and I'm like, no, like, do not come down and visit, like, please do not. But because no girl wants a creepy guy to come visit them when they live hours away. It's like, you stay over there, like, I'll stay over here, you stay over there. But we ended up, he unblocked me, or I unblocked him, he hadn't blocked me. But, you know, he didn't talk to me again and all that, but we would talk every now and then, just kind of saying, how's your day, and it was okay. He finally had lost interest in me, and only recently did he really text me, and it was like, I'm going to the beach, you know, I heard you're going to the same one. It wasn't anything creepy. I would say that me and him are, you know, we're not enemies, but we're not friends. He's okay now, and he is, like, a cool guy. He's very nice. He just, I guess, didn't really understand how to talk to a girl in middle school, but he's in high school now, so am I. So, you know, I guess he grew out of it. But that is the story of my stalker, Corey, and probably one of the weirdest experiences I had in middle school and ever at a camp. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And before I end this video, I do want to mention, because I did promise a friend this, I have a friend named Dylan, and he just started a YouTube channel. It is called 3D is Fun, if I believe so. I will be making probably a separate video later on, just showing off his channel a little bit, and maybe one of his live streams or something. But go and subscribe to him. I'm going to add him to my list to the side of recommended channels, so you can just go click on him. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next week. Okami out!